Since she can grab dinner with her bestie, why does she care if he has a baby with his? His fiancée Liu Ruyan is literally crying, calling him a bastard because Jiang Yue wants his baby. She demands respect as his fiancée, especially with the wedding day right around the corner. How could he do this? Meanwhile, our boy Fang Yuan just smirks. With a playful glint in his eyes, he slowly fires back. Since her bestie invited her to dinner, he's just helping his own bestie get pregnant. Why is she overreacting? Let us flash back to earlier that evening. Fang Yuan had agreed to try a brand new seafood restaurant with Jiang Yue. But guess who they bump into? His fiancée, Liu Ruyan, standing right next to her childhood bestie, Ji Boda. Meanwhile, Jiang Yue is clinging to his arm. Surprisingly, both couples had lied before leaving. Liu Ruyan claimed she had to attend an important business dinner with a client. And Fang Yuan told her he was stuck at the office working on a major project. The moment Liu Ruyan spots him, panic hits her eyes and she immediately jumps out of her chair. She asks what he is doing here, her eyes darting between him and Jiang Yue. Seeing Jiang Yue casually clinging to his arm makes her blood run cold. Her face darkens instantly as she storms over to confront them. Shaking with rage, she demands to know who Jiang Yue is and why they are together. Fang Yuan just smirks and asks if she was not supposed to be out with a client. He raises an eyebrow, shifting his gaze directly toward her childhood friend, Ji Boda. Ji Boda stands there with a smug, provocative grin, silently mocking him. Fang Yuan asks if this is the client, leaving Liu Ruyan completely speechless. Her anger freezes instantly, her lips twitching as she tries to find an excuse. She stammers out that she knows he does not like Ji Boda. But since it is his birthday, she promised to grab a bite with him. She only lied to avoid a fight, but reminds him he also claimed to be working. Pointing a finger at Jiang Yue, she demands to know who this woman is. Jiang Yue lets go of his arm and greets her with a sweet smile. She introduces herself as his childhood friend who grew up right alongside him. She mentions he always spoiled her like a sister, and she just got back from abroad. Since he just finished his project, she begged him to take her to this new spot. She asks if the fiancé minds, throwing a smug, challenging look her way. Oh, Liu Ruyan absolutely loses it. Screaming at the top of her lungs, she asks if they think she is completely blind. Clinging to each other like that late at night? Jiang Yue flinches back in fear. She tightly grabs Fang Yuan by the arm, her eyes instantly filling with tears. She whimpers that it is all her fault for begging him to come out. Apologizing for being immature, she begs them not to fight because of her. Liu Ruyan turns pale with rage, giving her the ultimate death stare. She calls her a manipulative drama queen, causing Jiang Yue to cling even tighter. Her fragile body starts trembling as tears threaten to spill over. Right before she cries, Fang Yuan finally snaps and tells his fiancée to stop. He reminds Liu Ruyan that Jiang Yue already explained everything perfectly. She is just like a sister to him, and their hands are clean. If they wanted to be together, it would have happened years ago. He tells her she only suspects them because her own mind is filthy. Liu Ruyan's face turns completely pale, looking utterly disgusted by everything around her. She stares at Fang Yuan in pure disbelief, shocked that he would actually say such things. She snaps, "Fang Yuan, how dare you yell at me? Can you not see his obvious act?" She yells that she is his actual fiancée, while Jiang Yue quickly tugs on Fang Yuan's hand. Acting completely helpless, Jiang Yue softly pleads, "Brother Fang Yuan, please do not fight because of me." She whimpers that she only wanted to eat with him, but if Sister Ruyan is unhappy, she will just leave so she does not ruin their relationship. At this point, the original green tea boy Ji Boda quickly rushes over to join the drama. He was standing pretty far away earlier, so he did not hear a single thing. Thinking they were fighting over him, he immediately puts on a sad face for Liu Ruyan. He stammers, "Please do not fight over me. I only wanted to eat with Sister Ruyan." He adds that it is all his fault, and he should have never shown up. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan freezes on the spot, suddenly looking at Ji Boda with growing suspicion. Completely clueless, Ji Boda still tries to save face and speaks directly to Fang Yuan. He begs Fang Yuan not to blame her or let him ruin their relationship. He keeps crying that it is his fault, but Fang Yuan just smirks at him. Fang Yuan laughs coldly. "Stop acting, you pathetic green tea." Feeling deeply offended, Ji Boda immediately shrinks back and hides behind Liu Ruyan. As his tears start falling, Liu Ruyan looks at him with a highly complicated expression. She does not even comfort him this time, making him realize she is actually upset. Panicking slightly, Ji Boda quickly shifts gears and plots his next move. Suddenly, he clutches his chest and groans, "Sister Ruyan, my chest hurts so much." He gasps that he might pass out, swaying on his feet like a drama queen. When he almost crashes to the ground, Liu Ruyan instantly loses her cool and panics. Forgetting all her doubts, she quickly catches him and asks what is wrong. She begs him not to scare her, while Ji Boda immediately leans his weight onto her. He weakly shakes his head, whispering that it is just his usual condition acting up. He thanks her, but secretly shoots Fang Yuan a smug, victorious look from behind her back. But wait, our girl Jiang Yue is built different, and she immediately reacts. She gasps and collapses straight into Fang Yuan's arms, crying that her head is spinning. She claims her low blood sugar is acting up, whimpering that she might pass out. Fang Yuan quickly holds her tight, looking incredibly worried and asking what is wrong. He begs her not to scare him, while Jiang Yue snuggles deeper into his chest. She weakly shakes her head, murmuring that she always gets dizzy when she skips meals.
She calls it an old issue and thanks him with the sweetest smile.
Then she turns and throws the exact same smug look right back at Liu Ruyan. Seeing her own move used against her, Liu Ruyan absolutely loses her mind with rage. She pushes Ji Boda away and charges straight toward Fang Yuan without thinking twice. Left with zero support, Jian Boda crashes hard onto the floor, looking completely stunned. At this point, their loud drama has attracted the attention of the entire restaurant. Seeing Ji Boda faceplant so pathetically, the surrounding diners cannot help but giggle. Ji Boda is dying of embarrassment, his face turning completely red. Liu Ruyan grabs Fang Yuan, glaring daggers at Jiang Yue and calling her a fake. She screams at her to stop acting pathetic, asking if she finds herself disgusting. Fang Yuan just shoves her off, looking down at the whimpering Ji Boda with pure disgust. Did you hear that? Even Ruyan told you. Stop faking sick for clout. Honestly, it is just embarrassing. Fang Yuan points straight at Liu Ruyan, snapping that Jiang Yue is far too kind-hearted. She has low blood sugar, and you call it faking? Do you even have a heart? Dealing with your constant drama is honestly making me so exhausted. Liu Ruyan just stares at him, completely frozen in absolute disbelief. It is like she is seeing him for the first time. He is done. He grabs Jiang Yue and turns to leave, suggesting they eat somewhere else. Ignore them, he says, as Liu Ruyan screams at him to stop. She tries to chase him down, but Ji Boda tightly holds her back. Classic toxic move. He whines about his chest hurting, begging her not to leave him behind. Liu Ruyan grits her teeth, looking at the guy's supposedly painful expression. She just cannot bring herself to leave, stomping her foot in pure frustration. In the end, she stays. Honestly, their 5-year history makes this drama so painful. 2 years in college and 3 years in the real world. She used to be the famous cold beauty in college, radiating a distant, aloof vibe. Countless guys try to pursue her, only to get rejected every single time. Her family was actually struggling financially, so she worked part-time throughout college. Fang Yuan low-key had a crush on her back then. Honestly, who wouldn't? She was absolutely stunning, but they barely even talked to each other at first. That is until their junior year, when he was eating at a local restaurant. She worked there as a cashier, and he caught her manager creepy-crawling and harassing her. Liu Ruyan was red with anger, biting her lip to keep it together. She was trying so hard not to cry. Fang Yuan did not even hesitate. He grabbed a heavy bottle and smashed it straight over the creep's head. In the absolute chaos, he grabbed her cold, shaking hand and ran out. That night, he took her up the mountain to see the city lights. She opened up about how often she got harassed, even calling the police. She had to constantly switch jobs, but this manager was on another level. He was way more aggressive and completely shameless compared to the others. So Fang Yuan hooked her up with a job at his cousin's company. With his cousin watching out for her, she was finally safe from creeps. She was so grateful that she offered to buy him dinner as thanks. One thing led to another, they became official, and he spoiled her on holidays. She returned the energy too, like knitting him a custom scarf from scratch.
She would embroider her initials on it or give him rare, out-of-print books.
The pages were filled with her personal notes or special tea from her hometown.
Nothing was super expensive, but back then, her effort meant everything.
After graduating, he wanted her to join a major corporation, but she refused.
She stuck with his cousin's company instead, relying on her own hard work. She worked her way up to sales manager. Then his mother got sick.
Fang Yuan was stuck overseas for business, and though a nurse was helping,
Liu Ruyan still worried. She immediately took her annual leave to go help.
She spent a whole week in the hospital, caring for her with zero complaints.
His mother originally did not like her, thinking they were from completely different worlds. People used to look down on her, saying her ordinary background meant she could never handle big drama. Honestly, our MC Fang Yuan always thought a business marriage made more sense, but this changed everything. His mother was absolutely obsessed with this future daughter-in-law, so the moment he got back, she immediately set the wedding date, locking them in to get married by the end of the year. She even warned him over and over again to make sure he treated Liu Ruyan like royalty.
To be fair, Liu Ruyan was smart, totally independent, and always had her own voice.
She was sweet and caring, so Fang Yuan obviously had zero complaints about marrying her. But bro, nobody saw this plot twist coming. Ji Boda returned to the country barely 2 weeks ago. And suddenly, Liu Ruyan acted like a completely different person, throwing her usual class right out the window.
She completely lost all sense of boundaries. On the exact day Ji Boda landed,
Liu Ruyan claimed her childhood friend was back and she needed to host a welcome dinner for him.
Fang Yuan did not think twice about it, just assuming it was a normal hangout with old friends. But when night fell, he happened to scroll past a social media post from her best friend. It was a video from the party, and sitting right next to Liu Ruyan was another guy. The two of them were sitting way too close, acting incredibly cozy with each other. What really blew his mind was that Liu Ruyan was literally chugging down drinks one after another. Keep in mind, they had been together for 5 years, and he had never seen her touch alcohol once. Even working in sales all these years, she always stuck to soft drinks during business dinners. She absolutely despised alcohol. Even when Fang Yuan wanted to share a casual drink with her, she would pour it out, complaining about the smell. Yet here she was, drinking like a fish. He literally could not believe his eyes, and at that point, he could not just sit there. He jumped into his car and sped straight to the venue, but by the time he arrived, the party was already winding down, and Liu Ruyan was flushed red, looking totally out of it. She was stumbling, completely wasted. That other guy was holding her up, keeping her pressed tight against his side. From a distance, they looked like they were hugging. Instant, pure rage boiled inside Fang Yuan. He stormed right up, slapped the guy hard across the face, and kicked him straight to the ground. Liu Ruyan gasped, completely startled by the sudden, violent commotion. The shock instantly sobered her up, and her eyes widened when she realized it was him. Panicking visibly, she rushed over and grabbed his arm, begging him, "Honey, please stop." She cried out, "Why are you here? And how could you just hit someone like that?" Her friends saw the sheer fury on Fang Yuan's face and instantly froze, not daring to make a sound. Nobody dared to speak up. Meanwhile, the fallen guy glared at him with pure hatred. But despite the venom in his eyes, his acting skills were actually top tier. He stumbled back to his feet, clutching his stomach as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Forcing a weak smile at Liu Ruyan, he muttered, "Sister Ruyan, do not worry, I am fine." "Seriously, I am fine. Is this your fiancé? You should quickly explain things to him so you two do not fight because of me." It does not matter. Saying this, he deliberately swayed. He made it look like he was about to pass out, but desperately forced himself to stand. Looking up, he asked if he was Fang Yuan, blaming himself because Liu Ruyan drank too much. He claimed he was only helping her up, and that they literally grew up together. Their relationship was completely pure, he insisted, begging Fang Yuan not to misunderstand. Liu Ruyan gave him a conflicted look and pleaded, "Honey, I only let Ji Boda hold me because I was wasted." She begged him to believe her. Fang Yuan just stood there, slowly scanning the silent crowd. Our boy looks at her mockingly, asking why none of her other childhood friends could handle it. Why did it have to be him? Does she seriously take him for a fool? Liu Ruyan turns pale, mouth wide open. She cannot squeeze out a single word, so our boy just ignores her. He turns around and leaves, making Liu Ruyan absolutely panic. She chases after him, completely ignoring Ji Boda, who is pretending to faint behind them.
She barely even glances back at him. For the next 2 weeks, things get wild.
Ji Boda keeps calling Liu Ruyan in the middle of the night.
He either complains about feeling unwell, so she has to visit, or claims he is too scared of thunder to sleep alone. He even plays the victim, saying he fell and cannot walk, but she just hangs up every single time. She never visits him once, though our boy can tell she secretly wants to.
Otherwise, she would not be secretly texting to comfort him after rejecting him every time.
Our boy watches all of this unfold and finally sees the reality of his situation. After all, she is just a fiancée, and he has plenty of other options anyway.
Since she is not his actual wife yet, he is totally fine just tolerating her for now.
But yeah, there is no shot this wedding is actually happening. After dinner with Jiang Yue,
our boy drops her off and finally heads back to his place around midnight. The house is pitch black, making him assume that Liu Ruyan is still out. But when he flips on the light switch, he finds her sitting on the couch, looking completely lost. Her eyes are red and swollen from crying, and she looks up at him. She immediately throws herself into his arms, sobbing that she thought he was not coming home. Her lips are trembling violently as she starts rambling in a complete panic.
she begs him, saying she knows she messed up and should not have lied.
She swears she came straight back after dropping Ji Boda at the hospital without staying a minute longer.
She insists nothing is going on between them and that they are just childhood neighbors. He was always sickly growing up, and his parents lived overseas for years. He was raised by his grandmother, so she only ever took pity on him. She only cared for him like a brother before he recently returned to the country. Since his family moved back to the countryside, he has nobody else here to help.
She looks into his eyes, begging him to believe he is her only love.
She begs him to stop being angry, noticing his cold expression soften just a bit.
Then she desperately shifts the topic to plead with him about something else.
She claims she can tell Jiang Yue has bad intentions and is only trying to target him. Our boy is absolutely stunned by the audacity and laughs at her hypocritical accusations.
He asks how she can spot Jiang Yue's intentions but remains blind to Ji Boda. Her entire body freezes up as she looks at him with teary, confused eyes.
She tries to defend Ji Boda, acting completely shocked that he would say that.
But our boy has zero patience left for her excuses and just pushes her away. He heads straight to the bathroom, realizing you can never wake someone who's pretending to sleep. From then on, their relationship is dead, just a polite show. The sincerity is gone. But now, he only cares about his own peace of mind, though she is still gorgeous. With her stunning features and perfect figure, she is always the center of attention. Still, Liu Ruyan behaves much better now. She comes straight home after work every day, even bringing him random little gifts. Even her voice is super careful now. All those boundaries she used to refuse,
She is now completely agreeing to, terrified of making him angry.
So early one morning, right as Fang Yuan is getting ready to leave,
Liu Ruyan hesitates for a straight minute before finally stuttering out, "Husband."
she says her boy toy, Ji Boda, still hasn't found a job, and his parents want her help. She actually wants to bring him into their company so she can personally mentor him.
Fang Yuan slowly turns around, giving her the absolute coldest stare.
The sheer disappointment in his eyes says it all. He just tells her to make her own choice.
With that, he frowns and walks away without looking back. Seeing his face drop, Liu Ruyan instantly panics. "Husband!"
She promises not to hire him, begging him not to be angry. Then, by the afternoon, the adorable childhood friend, Jiang Yue, calls Fang Yuan with a super weak voice.
She says she had a nightmare, and he can hear how bad she sounds. She is in a really bad place. Conveniently, her house is right next door.
It is literally one wall away, so Fang Yuan rushes straight over. The maid, Auntie Wang, opens the door and welcomes young Master Fang inside. He just nods and heads straight up to her bedroom. Finding Jiang Yue's door wide open, he quietly steps inside. The entire room is a pink paradise, absolutely bursting with girly vibes. A sweet, gentle scent fills the air around her soft pink bed. There are cute plushies scattered everywhere and a cartoon vanity in the corner.
Seeing him walk in, Jiang Yue weakly sits up and calls out for her brother, Fang Yuan. Her voice is completely drained of energy, sounding super stuffy and weak. With her red, watery eyes, she looks so incredibly fragile here.
She tries to play it off, saying she just missed her parents and felt a bit sad. But then she starts coughing, her delicate shoulders trembling. Honestly, this girl is too precious.
Now, Jiang Yue is already gorgeous, especially with those insanely long model-tier legs. Even the fiancé can't compete with her, and right now, looking this helpless? It completely melts Fang Yuan's heart, so he gently pats her head.
She leans into his touch like a cute kitten. He smiles and tells her he's free all day.
He decides to take her to Lotus Temple to pray, gently wrapping a coat around her. He leads her out, but right as they reach the temple gates, trouble finds them. They run straight into the toxic fiancé and her boy toy, and Jiang Yue instantly plays weak.
She slides right into Fang Yuan's arms. When Liu Ruyan sees them clinging like this, she loses it.
Her eyes instantly burn with jealousy, and she storms over yelling, "Husband! How can you hold her when I am literally your fiancé?"
Fang Yuan just scoffs, giving the parasite Ji Boda a mocking look.
Oh, so she can run around with her boy toy, but he can't look after someone else?
He tells her to stop being so double-standard, completely shutting her up. She desperately tries to explain that Ji Boda is sick and the meds aren't working. That's the only reason she brought him to pray, since he apparently has no other friends. While she plays the victim, our green tea queen Jiang Yue blinks her innocent eyes, addressing Miss Liu. You know, my blood sugar is super low, and climbing this hill made me so dizzy. I literally couldn't stand, and since my family is all abroad, it's really hard. I only have brother Fang Yuan to lean on. But look at your friend there, she says. Look at Ji Boda, clinging to the beauty but standing perfectly fine. Jiang Yue gasps in mock surprise, asking if that guy is just pretending to be sick. This completely triggers Liu Ruyan, and she raises her hand to strike Jiang Yue. She screams at her to shut her mouth, calling the accusation absolute nonsense. But before her hand can even land, our guy Fang Yuan beats her to the punch. The crisp smack echoes through the temple courtyard. That had to hurt. All the surrounding tourists instantly freeze and start whispering, staring right at them. Fang Yuan asks if she has had enough while her head spins from the impact of his slap. She just stands there completely frozen, absolutely stunned by the sudden strike. Jiang Yue smugly snuggles closer into his chest, giving him a very playful and cheeky look. Ji Boda immediately rushes over to shield Liu Ruyan, crying out how Fang Yuan could ever hit her. He immediately plays the ultimate victim here, crying that everything is entirely his own fault. He even apologizes and says he will just leave right now. But Liu Ruyan suddenly shoves Ji Boda aside, making the guy stumble and almost fall flat. She looks completely shocked, staring up at Fang Yuan with red, teary, and disbelieving eyes. She stammers out how he could hit her, but Fang Yuan just raises an eyebrow. He fires back that she deserves it because Jiang Yue is actually kind. He tells her he is deeply disappointed that she keeps targeting such a sweet girl. And without waiting for her to reply, he takes Jiang Yue and heads off to offer incense. After descending from the temple, he treats Jiang Yue to an absolute feast. After finally putting her to bed, he gets back to his own house at 2 a.m. in the morning. Liu Ruyan seems to be asleep, so Fang Yuan does not think much of it. He quickly showers and climbs into bed, only to find she is not wearing any pajamas. Suddenly, her soft body presses close to him, whispering that she thought a lot after returning tonight.
She admits she got way too close to Ji Boda during this recent period of time.
She claims he only brought Jiang Yue to make her jealous, but she swears it means nothing. She promises she never did anything to betray him, insisting she only treats Ji Boda like a younger brother. But then she drops a major bombshell. Ji Boda has terminal lung cancer and does not have long left. She already called his parents to come over and take care of him from now on. She promises to keep her distance and begs him to please stop being angry with her. As she gets even closer, our guy Fang Yuan just smirks at her efforts. The author is really cooking here. This woman is getting way too good at acting. Over the next month, Jiang Yue travels to Bali for a wedding, while Fang Yuan tackles a massive business project. He is completely swamped, but he still keeps tabs on his wife's movements. With a private investigator watching her every move, she does not do anything out of line. She only meets up with Ji Boda's parents a few times, which he ignores for now. But soon, Liu Ruyan starts looking incredibly exhausted, carrying a heavy mind every single day.
She clearly wants to say something to him, but Fang Yuan simply refuses to ask her about it.
She starts suffering from terrible insomnia, tossing and turning in bed all night long.
With completely bloodshot eyes, her physical condition is looking absolutely terrible at this point.
1 month later, the private investigator sends him 2 shocking videos of her latest actions. In one clip, Ji Boda's parents are literally on their knees before Liu Ruyan. They are begging desperately, crying their absolute hearts out in front of her. The footage is shot from a distance, making the audio completely silent and impossible to hear.
That night during dinner, Liu Ruyan personally serves him rice and pours him some soup.
She even starts giving him a shoulder rub, biting her lip while hesitating over what to say. Finally, she opens her mouth, carefully asking her hubby about her childhood friend, Ji Boda.
He is actually in the late stages of lung cancer, and she saw the medical reports herself.
She reminds him that they literally grew up together since they were kids.
Since Ji Boda is an only child, his parents actually went down on their knees begging her today.
They want her to have Ji Boda's baby, but she stops when she sees his eyes turn cold.
She quickly panics, promising her husband that he is the only one she truly loves. It is only in vitro fertilization, so she would never actually betray him physically in any way. Hearing this insane request, his brain completely short-circuits.
He honestly doubts his own ears, even though he knew she was capable of wild things.
But this level of sheer audacity is actually crazy and shatters his entire view. Thankfully, he was already planning to dump her, so any remaining affection instantly dies right here. It is completely gone. Suddenly, a memory from his high school days flashes in his mind. He remembers his childhood friend Jiang Yue joking about how high divorce rates are these days. She was too scared to marry, deciding to stay completely single for her entire life, asking if they could just have a kid together later for her to raise alone.
Bro, this is where he cooks. A smirk creeps onto his face as he looks up. His own childhood friend Jiang Yue refuses to ever marry, and her only dream now? She just wants a child of her own, but she simply cannot trust any other guy out there.
Terrified of stalkers, she insists on getting his help via in vitro fertilization.
He promises to return once she is pregnant, mocking her by saying she loves him enough to understand. Will she agree? No shot. Liu Ruyan's face instantly loses every drop of color. Her eyes go wide with pure shock, and her hands on his shoulders instantly freeze up. With ice-cold fingertips, she trembles in absolute disbelief. She stares straight at him, stuttering out, asking what he just said. Her whole world is crumbling down as she repeats that Jiang Yue wants his baby.
He just nods, playing completely dumb and looking back at her with innocent eyes.
Jiang Yue apparently wants a child without marriage, and she genuinely thinks his high-tier genes are elite. Since they are childhood friends, he is reliable and will not cause any drama. Honestly, he thinks it is a great idea, especially since she is family to him. It is just helping a friend out, right? She stutters back, asking if he has lost his mind.
Liu Ruyan spits out the words slowly, as if she cannot believe her own ears.
Then she suddenly lunges straight forward, screaming at him at the top of her lungs. She demands to know if Fang Yuan even realizes how insane it is for Jiang Yue to ask him for a baby. Yelling out, she asks what he takes her for, since she is literally his actual fiancée. They are about to get married, and she calls him a bastard while he just mocks her. He looks at her coldly, saying he is merely helping out his childhood friend. Why is she making such a huge deal out of this, he wonders. If she cannot accept it, they can just break up right now. Hearing the words break up, Liu Ruyan completely collapses in a total meltdown. She starts tearing at her hair like a madwoman, calling Fang Yuan an absolute bastard. Calling him a scumbag, she screams over him dumping her for that green tea girl. How could he throw away their 5 years of history like this, she cries. He just slowly wipes his mouth with a napkin, calmly enjoying every second of her spectacular, tearful breakdown. Their 5 years of history actually died the exact second she suggested giving Ji Boda a baby. Honestly, the second she gives that other guy a baby, their relationship is totally over.
Fang Yuan literally calls out Liu Ruyan, telling her she is being double standard as hell.
She watches him put on his jacket, completely ready to walk out the door.
At this point, she finally snaps out of it and completely panics.
Tears stream down her face as she begs him, claiming this is different. She cries that Ji Boda is dying, while Fang Yuan just stands coldly at the door. He raises his hand to cut her off. Whatever she does now is none of his business. The exact second she made that absurd proposal, any future they had was officially dead. Since they are done, he tells her he is selling this apartment immediately. He tells her to enjoy her mess, and she realizes he is actually leaving. Sobbing, she throws herself forward and grabs his arm with everything she has. She begs him not to leave, screaming that she knows she messed up. She swears she will never agree to Ji Boda's demands. She promises she will call them to reject the whole thing right now. She begs Fang Yuan not to abandon her when their wedding is so close. Shaking her head in pure terror, she looks up at him, pleading for mercy. Fang Yuan tells her to let go, his voice totally dead and empty of emotion. She desperately begs for just one last chance. She promises to do anything and never see Ji Boda again. Let's just get married. She screams that she will only ever bear his children. But Fang Yuan is done. He shoves her away, sending her crashing hard onto the floor. Pain doesn't even matter as she looks at him with utter dread. Tears flood down as she helplessly shakes her head.
He coldly tells Liu Ruyan that some words can never be taken back.
Just like her begging to carry Ji Boda's baby, and just like this breakup. Their relationship is officially dead, and with that, he turns his back on her. The door slams shut with a heavy bang as she screams his name. Her hysterical cries echo from inside the apartment, begging him to come back. Honestly, our guy just walks straight out of the building without looking back once. Sitting in his car, he immediately rings up his personal assistant.
He orders him to sell off that luxury downtown apartment as fast as possible.
It is located super close to the Fuji Group and his cousin's office, which is why he bought it. He drives back to the Fang estate, where Uncle Fu is shocked to see him. The butler greets him, surprised to see the young master home so late. Fang Yuan nods, telling the butler he will be staying here from now on.
He wants his meals prepared here, too, and Uncle Fu immediately gets to work.
Over the next few days, Liu Ruyan absolutely loses her mind trying to find him. She even storms into his office, making a scene, but security throws her out.
She cannot even get past the estate gates, so she spams his phone instead.
Our MC literally blocks and deletes her everywhere while his mother is vacationing overseas. He calls his mom to cancel the wedding and explains everything that happened. After hearing the whole messy story, his mother stays dead silent for a long time. She finally sighs, telling him in a quiet voice that it is okay.
Fang Yuan's mom completely supports his decision to move on, starting with selling that luxury apartment.
So he sells it way below market value just to get rid of it, but his assistant reports that Liu Ruyan is refusing to pack up and leave. In the end, his assistant brings in bodyguards to literally drag her out. Talk about satisfying. The next evening, Fang Yuan finally gets home.
But instead of his usual butler Uncle Fu opening the door, it is Jiang Yue standing there.
The second she sees him, she jumps straight into his arms, wrapping her legs around his waist and refusing to let go. The sudden attack completely startles him, and he gasps, "Jiang Yue, what are you doing back already?"
She just laughs, asking if he is surprised to see her, while wondering where Uncle Fu went. Apparently, the moment her cousin's wedding ended, she rushed straight to the airport just to see him. She murmurs that she just wanted to surprise him, burying her face into his neck like a cute puppy.
Her voice is incredibly sweet and soft as she mentions that Wang Ma came over to check out the place.
Apparently, she and Uncle Fu are currently in the backyard having a quiet little chat. So she tells Fang Yuan that they definitely should not disturb them. Then she leans in close, asking if it is true that he finally dumped Liu Ruyan. Fang Yuan's face instantly darkens, and he sets her back down on the floor. He gives her a serious look, telling her she has some nerve asking that, and demands she start explaining. Specifically about how Ji Boda's parents suddenly lost their jobs abroad and were forced to return home. He asks if she was the one behind it, and seeing him look so serious, Jiang Yue immediately panics. Her eyes turn red instantly, and she looks incredibly pouty and aggrieved. She bites her lip to hold back the tears, whispering that she knows she was wrong. She begs him not to be mad, admitting she just did not want him marrying anyone else because she wants him for herself.
Looking at her crying face, Fang Yuan just cannot bring himself to stay mad or scold her. Honestly, Jiang Yue has had it rough. Her parents passed away in a tragic plane crash when she was tiny. Her grandfather was always swamped running their massive global business, leaving him zero time to raise her. Because of that, she basically grew up in Fang Yuan's house, living there all the way through high school. Having no close family around made her super insecure and constantly anxious. She was terrified of the dark and loud storms, refusing to sleep alone. In fact, she used to walk into his room barefoot in her pajamas at midnight, just standing by his bed in silence. Her huge eyes would be filled with pure fear until Fang Yuan finally opened his arms. Only then would she smile and dive right into his chest. For most of their childhood, they were inseparable. She basically slept in his bed every single night right up until she graduated from high school. That was when her grandfather finally sent her abroad to study. By the way, Fang Yuan's mom always hated his ex, Liu Ruyan. She actually wanted him to enter an arranged marriage with Jiang Yue from the very start. But back then, Fang Yuan was totally blinded by his love for Liu Ruyan and flat out rejected the idea.
Supposedly, when Jiang Yue heard the news abroad, she got so sick from heartbreak that she lost a ton of weight.
Hearing that Ji Boda and Jiang Yue both returned to the country around the same time felt suspicious to him. So he did some digging and discovered something wild. Ji Boda's parents actually work for Jiang Yue's family. They are employed at one of their branch companies. Seeing Fang Yuan space out, Jiang Yue gets nervous.
She timidly tugs on his sleeve, begging him not to be mad at her anymore.
This girl definitely knows he is a total softie. Ever since they were kids, the second she started acting cute, he was helpless. He would always take the blame for whatever trouble she caused. She honestly has him completely wrapped around her finger.
He sighs and tells her he is not actually that mad, since her scheme helped him see Liu Ruyan's true colors early.
Otherwise, if they had actually gotten married before divorcing, he would have lost a fortune to that gold digger.
Hearing this, Jiang Yue snaps her head up, her eyes instantly lighting up with hope. She beams at him, asking if he is really not going to blame her for meddling.
Seriously, this girl changes her mood faster than a light switch. Fang Yuan just smiles helplessly and says it is fine. Jiang Yue immediately jumps right back onto Fang Yuan and plants a huge kiss on his cheek. She squeals that she always knew her dear brother Fang Yuan was the absolute best to her. She playfully refuses to get down until he promises to marry her, right after they finish eating dinner. Uncle Fu walks over looking pretty hesitant to announce that Miss Liu has returned once again. Asking if he wants to see her, they both head right outside. Liu Runyan's eyes instantly lock onto Jiang Yue, who is standing right behind Fang Yuan. Jiang Yue is just as beautiful as her, plus she is easily 5 centimeters taller and younger.
Being younger gives her a major edge, and in just an instant,
Liu Ruyan's eyes turn blood red with rage, glaring so fiercely she looks ready to eat her alive. She screams, calling her a fake green tea and accusing her of seducing her fiancé.
"Did you trick him into breaking up with me, you absolute homewrecker?" Screaming like a maniac, she lunges forward, trying to grab and tear at Jiang Yue. Jiang Yue shivers in sheer terror, quickly ducking behind Fang Yuan for safety.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Fang Yuan immediately raises his hand and slaps her right across the face. She was charging way too fast, completely losing her balance. The force of that brutal slap sends her stumbling backward, crashing heavily and hitting the hard ground. Looking up, her face is a picture of absolute despair.
She sobs out, asking how he could possibly hit her over a fake green tea girl.
Fang Yuan looks down with cold eyes, telling her to stop throwing around these cheap, baseless accusations.
He asks if she forgot why they broke up, mocking her to go have babies with her precious childhood friend.
Why is she even here bothering him now? Hearing this, Liu Ruyan's face turns completely pale. She shakes her head wildly, desperately crying out that it is not what he thinks.
She begs for forgiveness, swearing she knows she messed up and hasn't even spoken to Ji Boda since.
Crying that she truly only loves him, she begs him to please give her one more chance.
She keeps insisting she only ever viewed Ji Boda as a brother and never once betrayed his trust. She begs him to believe her, claiming he is the only one she loves.
She literally crawls over trying to grab his pants, but he easily steps back.
Looking down at her, there isn't a single shred of his former affection left. Only cold indifference remains. He scoffs at her ridiculous brother excuse.
He asks if this is a brother she can actually make babies with, reiterating their permanent breakup. They are done, and whatever she does with Ji Boda from now on is her business.
It has absolutely nothing to do with him, so she needs to just leave. He tells her not to make him despise her even more, before signaling to Uncle Fu with a quick glance.
Uncle Fu immediately brings over 2 big bodyguards who grab Liu Ruyan and drag her straight out. She struggles with all her might, letting out one ear-piercing shriek after another.
But none of it matters now. Over the next few days,
Liu Ruyan tries making multiple scenes at the gates, but Uncle Fu and his security easily kick her out every single time. Completely out of options, she decides to camp right outside his company building to wait.
she will literally stand there for hours looking exactly like a completely lifeless statue. Even when it pours rain, she refuses to move, frozen right in that spot. Gossip quickly starts spreading like wildfire around the office, since plenty of employees easily recognize her as his ex-fiancée. Before long, Sister Yao calls Fang Yuan up to ask if the rumors about their breakup are true.
She mentions that she actually used to think pretty highly of Liu Ruyan before.
But lately, she keeps skipping work without any reason, and her performance is a total train wreck.
On top of losing massive business deals, there is always some random guy showing up to pester her.
His cousin warns him that their drama is seriously hurting the company. If they split, she has to play by the rules while Fang Yuan sits there completely unfazed. Fang Yuan tells her to do what she has to do, no special treatment needed.
With that settled, she is relieved he is not letting feelings get in the way.
He promises to buy her dinner later, then walks over to the office window.
Down below, he spots a lonely, miserable figure standing outside and stops to think.
Making a clean break now is his only option before the company's reputation gets ruined.
So he grabs his bodyguards, heads downstairs, and confronts Liu Ruyan face to face. Honestly, she looks absolutely wrecked at this point, with massive dark circles under her eyes. With all the color gone from her face, she spots Fang Yuan.
Suddenly, those lifeless eyes light up, and she begs, saying she knew he still cared.
But he shuts her down instantly, calling her Miss Liu and saying they are ancient history.
He tells her this desperate clinging is useless, especially since she knows how he is.
Once he makes a decision, he never changes his mind, making her drop to her knees. Tears start streaming down her face as she cries out that she is not trying to cling. She is literally begging on her knees, just asking for one last chance to make things right.
Shaking her head desperately, her voice is completely hoarse and broken.
She admits messing up big time, regretting being soft on Ji Boda. Never should she have agreed to his absurd demands, swearing she did not actually cheat.
Deep down, she insists she only loved him and was just trying to help her friend.
Fang Yuan just stares back with a blank face, telling her he did not come down for excuses.
He is not here for her useless sob story. He just wants to show her something very interesting.
He pulls out his phone and unblocks her on the spot to send a file. See, when he hired that private eye, he was not just keeping tabs on his ex.
Ji Boda was being watched too, and now Fang Yuan sends her the other secret recording. The second Liu Ruyan opens the video, her face completely freezes in shock. The footage clearly shows Ji Boda and his parents plotting their whole disgusting scheme together. Tucked away in a quiet hospital corner, Ji Boda is grinning like a total villain. He tells his parents not to worry because his entire medical report is fake. All he has to do is pretend he is dying and beg Liu Ruyan on his knees. He knows her soft spot, believing she will definitely agree to bear his child out of pity. Since she acts tough but is weak for family, begging together will definitely break her. He brags about loving her since they were kids and refusing to let anyone else have her. Even if he cannot truly have her, he will never let her marry another man. Once she gives him a kid, she will never be able to leave him behind. That means she would be locked to him forever, making his stepmother's eyes light up. The mother tells her husband that this plan is actually brilliant. She says since Liu Ruyan makes crazy money as a manager, their financial future would be totally set. Once she is locked down with their son, they can just retire in comfort.
The father gets super excited, rubbing his hands together with absolute greed in his eyes. He agrees to the plan, praising his son for being the smart one in the family. After all the praising of their scheme, Liu Ruyan literally cannot believe what she is seeing.
Hearing those shameless words and seeing their sheer greed completely shatters her entire world.
Their smug, evil smiles slice through her heart like a million tiny knives.
Honestly, seeing her completely break down here is so satisfying after all her mistakes.
She suddenly bursts out laughing like crazy, realizing she was the ultimate fool this entire time.
She was played like a fiddle by their whole family. Honestly, watching her break down like this is crazy.
There is zero sympathy for her here. She does not even have the face to beg for forgiveness anymore.
Crying and laughing at the same time, she turns around and walks away completely defeated. And then, boom, her phone rings. It is her boss telling her that she skipped way too many days of work. She cost them a $10 million order, so the board decided to fire her on the spot. Blacklisted forever. She hangs up, completely stunned.
Next, her toxic mother calls and starts screaming at her without even letting her breathe. Liu Ruyan, you useless girl, did Fang Yuan seriously dump you? What on earth are you doing? What about the $1 million dowry the Fang family promised? The mansion, the luxury cars, is all of that completely gone now? Why did I raise such a useless daughter? Your younger brother needs that money for his wedding house next year. We were counting on Fang Yuan to pay for it, and you ruined everything. I already bragged to all our relatives about the wedding. How do you expect me to face them now?
What about your brother? Liu Ruyan, I am warning you right now.
Go beg him, kneel down, or even become his side chick if you have to. You have to get him back, because we cannot lose this marriage under any circumstances. If you do not get his forgiveness, do not ever call me your mother again. Her mother keeps screaming and cursing over the phone. The absolute audacity is actually wild. Liu Ruyan hangs up with a completely blank stare, utterly crushed and hopeless.
She wanders the streets aimlessly, losing track of time until she finally looks up. Somehow she ended up at Ji Boda's apartment complex where his parents are staying too.
The funniest part, she paid the rent for this place. She takes the elevator to the 13th floor.
She knocks, and the three of them open the door to see her standing there.
They are absolutely thrilled to see her and instantly welcome her inside. Come sit down, they say, while the stepmother frantically signals Ji Boda. Ji Boda starts coughing on cue, pretending he's terminally ill as he calls out to her. Why have you been avoiding me? I know I messed up. It is all my fault. I am not worthy of you, but please just help me have a child. Actually, just leave me alone and let me die in peace. Let my family line end with me. He squeezes out fake tears, crying about his tragic fate.
He says he will never blame her, but Liu Ruyan just stares back with dead eyes.
She looks right at him, cold as ice, and silently pulls out her phone. She pulls up the ultimate receipt and plays the video right in front of them. The room goes dead silent as the three of them completely freeze up. In the video, the father's voice boasts about his son carrying on the family line. The audio echoes in the apartment, and she just watches them with pure disgust. She looks at them like they are absolute garbage. Ji Boda panics and desperately tries to explain. That is not real. The video is a total fake. This was Fang Yuan, right? He gave this to you because he is jealous of our love. He is framing me. You have to believe me. Look, Fang Yuan dumped you anyway, but I still want you.
I have loved you forever. Please say something. But seeing they're exposed, the father stops acting.
He slaps her hard across the face and grabs her hair, dragging her inside. This sudden escalation completely shocks Ji Boda and his mother.
The stepmother turns completely pale, asking what he is doing, while the stepfather looks pure evil. What else? We are forcing them together, so there is no going back. Since Fang Yuan abandoned him, nobody is going to protect him anymore. Even his own mother thinks he is a disgrace and wants him dead. Nobody cares about him now, and once our son takes him by force, we will drag him to the countryside until he gives birth to a baby. He cannot escape us then. Honestly, these villains are actually crazy for this.
She quickly locks Ji Boda in the room with him just as the guy lunges straight at Liu Ruyan.
As he aggressively tries to tear his clothes off, Liu Ruyan looks away.
Suddenly, he spots a heavy metal lamp on the nightstand and grabs it. He uses every single ounce of his strength to smash it into Ji Boda's head. 1, 2, 3 times. He completely loses count of how many times he swings. Until everything around him is stained blood red, and he just bursts out laughing like a maniac.
What a satisfying payoff. Meanwhile, our main guy just finished his shower.
Suddenly, Jiang Yue quietly slips into his bedroom, wearing a very thin nightgown, just like they were kids. She stands there barefoot, looking completely helpless, while he stares at her sheer outfit. She has absolute model curves and those long, perfect legs.
He literally almost gets a massive nosebleed, acting on pure childhood instinct. He opens his arms wide, and Jiang Yue smiles, diving straight into his chest. Holding him tight, she tearfully asks him the same question over and over. "Are you going to marry me?" And he is like, "Yes, absolutely."